Hello and welcome to Burning Waters of the Moon Tarot. So here I am. I wasn't quite prepared to do a video today. I've actually been getting over COVID and I'm still experiencing symptoms, but I feel better. I still have this headache, which is, it's not as bad as it was when I had COVID in 2021. But it's just so weird how the symptoms just linger. And I'm still like tired, like I run low on energy, and I still have that headache. It just drives me nuts. I do have a little bit of post-nasal, but that's not too difficult to deal with. It's just this lingering headache, and sometimes I'm thinking, do I have a caffeine headache or what? It's a great excuse to have another cup of tea, right? So this video is about the upcoming full moon. The full moon is in the constellation, actually it's on the cusp of the constellation of Aquarius and Capricorn. It's like right in between the two, which is kind of cool. And it's also in the sign of Aquarius, so it kind of matches up a little bit, the tropical and the constellations. Constellational astrology matches up. So what I'm feeling about this full moon is that it's really going to be a way that we can kind of ground ourselves in kind of our crazy beliefs, and I think this would be the perfect full moon for someone to get out there and start working with moon energy. Someone who kind of thinks that maybe, that's kind of weird. How can you talk to the moon, or how can the moon help you? I know how that feels. I was there, and I don't even really know what pushed me out there to get there to start working with the moon. I've charged my crystals and all of that under the full moon, and been making moon water for many years. And I don't know, one day I just took my altar out there and I started working with the energies, and it really helps. It really helps. Now, whether you want to think that it's the actual energy of the moon coming to help you, or if you just want to say that's you talking to your higher self, anything I feel where you can put some kind of ceremony behind it, put some meaning behind it, it makes a change. And I think the energy that you put into it is felt by everything. And I think things start to line up for you as you start working with this and putting energy into it and putting belief into it. So one of the things that I wanted to start doing with this channel was to help others start working on certain aspects of their life. So I really feel like moon energy is kind of the way to go, especially when we're trying to heal old traumas. We're trying to work through things, work through habits that we've maybe developed, work through ways of being that are no longer helping us in our current state of maturity or the world that we're living in. And at one point, we developed these tendencies that helped us way back when, but now those tendencies are hindering growth, hindering new possibilities, hindering change. And so it takes a lot of energy and a lot of work and a lot of focus to change something that's been so ingrained in us, and something that has worked in the past, and it takes maturity, I guess, to even see that something is not right with the way things have been going. So, and I think that's the type of people that are drawn to my channel, is because my readings are kind of, I guess, dark or maybe harsh, but it also brings a light to something that's been in the dark for a while, or something maybe that we didn't know what was there. So with this video, not only do I want to discuss the full moon, but I want to discuss how we're going to work with this full moon. And I think you should at least try it a few times before you decide it doesn't quite work for you. And it may not, and it may. So you just don't know until you start putting something into motion and start working with it, and it might take a few times for you to even see change. And I don't know how long it took for me to see change. And my change was kind of gradual, and I was doing many different things. I did herbal cleanses. I was just eating fruit for a long time, which was very powerful. I kind of felt a buzz within my entire being. It's like I felt the movement of all my cells. It was really cool. But not only is that really hard to do, just to eat fruit, I think that kind of put me into a situation where I became hypoglycemic. That's been fixed, but you really got to be careful with diet. And as much as I would like to not eat meat, I feel that my body does need it. Now, I don't need meat 3 times a day. I would say maybe, if that, 3 times a week. And it's really in working with your body, working with your mind, working with your spirit. You've got to find what works for you. And it's not always going to be what works for everyone else or anyone else, or it's not always going to be what you see on a YouTube video. It's going to be, what rings true for you, what works with your body, what works with your beliefs, and also what it is that you can actually incorporate. Not a lot of us are able to go into a backyard and sit with the full moon. Not a lot of us can go to the mountains and listen to bubbling brooks to meditate and to calm down. I live in a heavily populated metropolitan area, so there is not a lot of bubbling brooks around. So I have to really, we all have to tailor what works for us and what we are capable of doing. And on top of that, I've got 4 kids, and I've got a little bookkeeping business that I keep up with, and it's really hard for me to do things for myself, which is unfortunate. I do look forward to when I will have more time, but my therapist says that I'm once I have that time, I'm just going to wish I had my kids back, which is the human condition, right? We always want what we don't have. We always want the other green grass, right? We can't be happy with our green grass. But I think that's what makes us human. We change our minds, and that gives us the propensity to change and to improve. If everything just stayed the same and we were happy with the status quo, we would never improve. We would never evolve and change. And so I think the fact that we becoming complacent is not part of the human spirit. It's part of our spirit to seek, to make things better, to change, and we've got to change. The universe is changing every millisecond. So we've got to keep up. and so working on ourselves and changing ourselves, changing our habits, our proclivities, it's going to help us and help our future generations. You can talk to your kids about this, and talk to nieces, nephews, if you don't have any kids, or even if you're a mentor to a neighbor or somebody. Sometimes you might meet somebody in a cafe and explain to them some of the things you've gone through and what you're doing to work with them, and that will spark curiosity in them, and they'll start looking into something like that, or looking to change. I will say that today's generations, today's children, young people, they are a lot more open, and they're ready to make these changes at a younger age. So I think that's amazing. Okay, so let's talk about the full moon. So we've got a full moon like in the constellation of Aquarius. It actually, on my app, it just looks like it is really on the border of both. I wonder if it'll show up on camera. Let's see. I use Stellarium. And so, oh, you're going to see my backyard. No, that's not going to work. I could probably, yeah, that would just take too long. Let's see. Monday, August. So the full moon is going to be Monday, like it's going to be 100%. Monday, August 19th at around noon, 12:30. I'm talking about in the United States, in Houston, Texas. And so it's actually not really going to be visible to us. But if you go out on Sunday night, the moon is going to be waxing. And if you do any kind of moon work or spell work, when a moon is waxing, when it's growing, that's when you want to work on things that you want to expand, that you want to grow. And so what we're working on is growing our awareness, growing the awareness of ourself, okay? Growing the awareness of being grounded in what it is that we see for ourselves, using the Capricorn and the Aquarius energy, right? So Aquarius is very forward thinking. You know, they like to dream a lot. They like to think about things that they're innovators, I guess you could say, right? And so what we're doing for ourselves now is we're innovating, we're instituting change. We're trying to get out of old habits and go into something new, because we want to institute this change. But we've got to be grounded in how we do it by using the Capricorn energy. Okay, now we don't necessarily want to leave our family and go sit in the woods and meditate for 10 hours or 10 days. We can't do that, right? But what we can do is be grounded in what we are available to do. Okay, and so we're going to use this energy to decide, to bring our goals, our lofty thoughts, our lofty goals, and bring them into alignment with what we are physically able to do. Okay, and so we're going to use this full moon to go out there, to meditate out there, to bask in the moonlight, to start a dialogue, maybe, if you feel comfortable enough. And you may not get an answer the first few times, but after a while, you're going to get an answer. And it's amazing when I say talk back, but it's not an actual voice. It's an actual, just like a feeling. It's like if you think of how a cup gets full as you're pouring liquid into it, it's like that. It's amazing. It's something that it would need to be experienced to really fully understand what it feels like and what it actually is. And so that's what we want to do. And I can share with you my ceremony, or what it is that I do, my ritual. So I go outside, I bring all of my stuff. I try not to go back inside, back and forth, back and forth. Once I start it, I have to have everything I need, because I don't want to interrupt. And I bring out representations of the elements. I have, of course, fire. I have what we call a popashkomet, okay, and that represents my fire. That is my fire that sits on my altar, and that's what I use in ceremony. And I do have a lamp burning, it burns oil. It has a little wick. I guess it's a hurricane lamp. One of the cats actually broke the top to the hurricane lamp, so the flame is exposed, so I can't use that. I don't know what I'm going to use. I guess I'll have to use some candles. Yeah, I have some candles I can use. And so, but what I have representing the fire is I have an ember, a coal in my popeshkomet, and that burns my copal, or it burns the, why can't I think of what it's called? The little woods that I burn. I think I have one right here. Yes, Palo Santo. I have that burning in there, or I'll burn some herbs like lavender. Sometimes I have some crushed up sage that I can put in there as well, and so that represents my fire. You can use a candle, and that's kind of what I use inside, because I don't burn my popeshkomet all the time. Like when I'm preparing for readings, I use a candle. I do smudge everything with the Palo Santo, but I don't use my popeshkomet when I'm doing readings. So for water, I just have a little vessel that holds moon water that I've previously made. And earth, I have a crystal, and wind, I use a seashell. And so that's what I have, and I have them arranged in the directions that they correspond with. For me, now this doesn't match up with everybody else. For me, fire is east, water is west, north is air, and south is earth. And so I have a little altar cloth. We use red, and I have that no, my cat, hold on. No. Sparkle. He just wants to get up there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry about that. And I use a red cloth, so I don't put everything directly onto the ground. And these are considered my sacreds, and so everything for us is wrapped in a red cloth. And so I'll start by gratitude. I start my ceremony. Actually, I smudge everything. I'm sorry, I forgot that part. Everything gets smudged, right? And then I'll start by offering gratitude to my ancestors. I offer gratitude to Mother Earth, the moon, the sun, everything. I go through my entire list, offering gratitude, thanking for the gifts, the wisdom, all of that. And then I start the ceremony. I start just talking, and if I have a request, I'll offer tobacco. And sometimes I'll burn a little bit of tobacco in my popeshkomet, but I'll offer the tobacco, and then I'll just start working. I'll start talking. If there's a little ritual that I need to do, I'll do that after my talking. Sometimes I'll burn some herbs, or do maybe a little, I guess you would call it magic. And I'll work with things that way. Now, with the full moon that's coming up, since we'll be working with it Sunday night, anything that you want to increase is what you'll be working on. If you want to work with the waning moon, and something that you want to decrease, you can go out Monday night and work with it then. Technically, the full moon is going to be full during the day, noontime for us in the United States. And technically, you can work with the moon at that time, but I find it's just, I've not ever done it during the day. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right for me to do the moon work during the day. I don't know. And so the moon, I wonder, let's see how long, what percentage it will be. I have these cool apps on my phone. One of the apps I use is called, what is this one called? Is it Daft Moon? I think it's called Daft Moon. Yes, it's called Daft Moon. And you can set it to sidereal, you can set it to tropical, and it has the moon phases, a moon calendar, it has where the nodes are. I mean, it's pretty cool. The eclipses, the equinox. I'm sorry I'm getting so close. I have a bug bite on my leg that I keep messing with. Okay, so if I go to the phases, oh, and I forgot what I was going to tell you about. Oh, yes. So I'm going to go back hour by hour. So it's 100% at 12:25 p.m. on Monday the 19th. And it's 99% August 18th, which is Sunday, starting from 4:25. And so basically it goes up 0.1% every hour. Okay, so, you know, if you want to work with the full moon, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., it'll be 99.4% full waxing gibbous. Okay, so you've got, I mean, we've got time. We do. And the energy of the full moon, you know, is like a day or two before, then you've got the full moon, and then a day or two afterwards, you know, you still have that full moon energy. But there is the waxing phase and the waning phase. And so things that you want to increase, you want to do that in the waxing. Things you want to decrease, you want to do that in the waning. And of course, the full moon power is when it's at its fullest capacity, and that's when you want to put the most power of the moon into it. And like I've said, I've never done anything during the day when it's at 100%. I've always done my moon work at night. And so that's basically my ceremony. To close it out, I of course thank all of my elements, my ancestors, all of everything that I've worked with, and I dig a little hole, and I bury my coal in the hole. I pour the water over it, and then I cover it up with the earth. And so all of that stays outside and goes back to the earth. And I usually do that by a tree. I do have an oak tree in my backyard, and that's just how I was taught to get rid of a coal when you are working with it. And ooh, I made myself bleed. I actually sharpened my nails. Look at that. I sharpened them. This pinky one is super sharp. Get out of the way. How do I get out of the way? Can you see my nails? Oh my gosh, not gonna be able to see it. Anyway, my pinkies are super sharp. One day I was just like, what would happen if I put points on all of my nails? And I did, and I kind of feel vampiric. Okay. So, all right, I guess we could do a quick tarot reading for the full moon. Let me pause this, and I'm gonna put my camera up here. Okay, and here we are. So for today's reading, I am going to use these two decks. These are two new acquisitions. Secret Mirror is a very cool deck that I like. Actually, I don't know, I believe this was a Kickstarter, and it's of course RWS, and it only has yellow, red, white, black and white, and which I really like. But they're having another Kickstarter where it's full color, and I don't know, these came with the deck. I really like this deck. I don't know how I feel about this one. I just feel like it's just really cartoony. Even more so cartoony than the other one. So, I don't know. If you're interested, check it out. Secret Mirror. I believe they have an Etsy shop. If you're in the United States, there's one called an Etsy shop called Tevada, Tevada, and they have this shipping from the United States. I think the creator of this Secret Mirror deck is in China, so shipping would be outrageous. And then, of course, this is the Il Meneghello Vachetta. And this is a very cool deck as well. Handmade in Italy. So it is a more of a TDM type deck. Though I don't want to call it Tarot of Marseille because it is an Italian deck. But they're sort of illustrated. And I don't have we don't necessarily need it. I didn't pick out an oracle deck. Okay, let's do the Il Meneghello up first. So let's see what our three main energies are going to be for this full moon. For a full moon reading. And let's just see what the cards have to say about that. This cardstock is wonderful. I really like that these cards have pointed edges. And that's one thing I've noticed about the cards from Italy, I guess, or overseas. They have those pointed edges, 90-degree edges, not the rounded corners. Pointed corners is maybe a better way to say it, right? Oh, I need to do my split, don't I? Alright. Okay, so let's see what three main energies we have. Okay, so we've got the Page of Swords. We've got the Ten of Cups in reverse. And we've got the Six of Swords in reverse. Okay, so air, earth of air, water, and more air. All right, and then let's pull these cards out, guys. Now, I started using these type decks in an effort to kind of get away from the RWS system because I felt like, I don't know, I don't always agree with what RWS has to say about the meaning of the cards. But I have found that I do, two major arcanas, that I do kind of like the RWS. Got another page, Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, the Sun. Oh my goodness, Six of Cups and Five of Swords. So we've got two fives here. Okay, so this Page of Swords. So this really speaks to me as a student. And this page here, so back in the day, I don't believe that they associated the elements with the suits. I think it was more, they used it as just a delineation or a separation of the suits, categories, right? And so when I read with this, I really want to try to remove the elements from this and kind of work with it in a way of the swords being protection, maybe a little bit of fighting, and the cups being fulfillment, working with things that increase, that fill up, and then of course, well, we don't have the other ones, so we won't talk about those. So what I'm getting here from this guy, I feel like he is sort of stopping a fight, stopping a quarrel, maybe. He's sort of calling a truce, right? And he's a young person who maybe has different ideals than what was being presented to him or that was being taught to him by the older people. So you see he has sort of a audience. And in relation to these three major arcana, I really feel like he's wanting to institute some change. I feel with Justice and the Lovers here and the Sun, he's pretty much being illuminated to something that he feels is not quite the way that it should be in relation to a relationship, the way two things are working with one another. And so I feel like this is him sort of stopping the status quo and bringing forth something new for him. So we do have the 10 of Cups in reverse, which would mean extreme fulfillment. The highest level of fulfillment that you can get to would be a 10. And so I feel that maybe there is some sort of aspect in our lives in which it might seem like it's fulfilled, but we're not fully fulfilled, if you get what I mean. It might look on the outside that we have everything that we want and need. However, there's still a lacking here with the 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups being sadness. And this 4 of Cups here, this is that complacency card. And so you feel you're no longer complacent, right? You feel this sadness. You feel like something is missing. And what I'm using with this page of swords, or I'm sorry, this page of pentacles, I am attributing the elements to this because that's how Rider-Waite wanted it. Edward Waite, or the Golden Dawn, I guess you could say, they attributed the elements to these cards. And what they are saying with here, this page of swords, or I keep saying page of swords, this page of pentacles, this page of pentacles is investigative. He's a doer. He wants to institute a change. He wants to go in and work to become fulfilled. We have the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands both in reverse over here, along with our 6 of Swords. Now, this 6 of Swords, it does have the laurel. No, that's the 6 of Wands that has the laurel. And so what I feel here is maybe that there is some sort of truce that is broken. We see all these different swords here, and swords for me, like I said, with these types of decks, they indicate fighting, they indicate protection. And with all of these swords inside this wreath, I feel at one point there was some kind of truce. There was some kind of stopping of quarrels. But with it being reversed, I feel like it might be coming undone. We do have this 5 of Swords down here, which indicates that there is some kind of maybe egotism going on, or some sort of a fight, a quarrel. We have these two ladies with their backs against this lady, and so it's almost like they have decided to not even mess with her anymore. They've laid down their swords, and she's sort of smiling with victory, but these two are obviously not happy with the situation. And we have our 2 queens here. We've got water of fire, and then we've got water of air. And these 2 queens just are not expressing the way we would want them to express in regards to a truce. So I feel like there is some turmoil that needs to be reconciled. We've got to get this our water that we have here is just not expressing in the way that we want it to express. Our emotions we're not fulfilled. We're not using our emotions and our intellect in the way to bring us in a harmonious state. And I feel, like I said, that's where this Page of Swords is going to come in, where he's challenging this status quo in regards to some sort of relationship. So I really do feel like we can use this Aquarian energy, to change some ideals that we might have, not only about within ourselves, but we can also change that with others as well. And these cards would indicate that there is some sort of relationship that needs to be worked on, and it's time to bring them. To bring those changes forth. And like I said, with this full moon, I think is a good time to ground ourselves in these changes that we have in our mind, but mesh what our wishes are and mesh them what we are physically able to do. Right? What we can realistically accomplish. Okay. Now we would really love to end world hunger, right? Realistically, we cannot, because we're not in charge of all these resources. We don't make policy. But what we can do is maybe help our neighborhood, right? We could maybe pass out canned goods to people in need in our neighborhood and start there. And that's what we can do. That's the type of change that we can institute realistically. And that's what I feel this new moon is about, is instituting change realistically. And to tie it all in with how we can do that for ourselves is to start working, to use this full moon and use this full moon energy to bring forth some change. So like I said, try it out, see what works for you, and do it a few times, not just 1 or 2 times. Do it a couple of times and see if it works for you. See if it meshes with your personality. Some people will feel absolutely ridiculous going out there and working with the moon under the moonlight, and having a candle burning with a crystal and a cup of water. Some people won't. That's not their cup of tea. Okay, but some people may or may not like it, or some people may like it. Right? Some people might not like working with the elemental part, but they might like to take out a lawn chair and sit out there with the moon themselves. Oh, one thing that I would like to mention, the water that I use on my altar has been filtered through the moonlight. So on certain full moons, or when I need to, basically, I will make moon water. And the way that I do that is I get a glass jar. I use a glass crystal vase. It's really big. And I'll put quartz crystal in there. I use distilled water, and I just put that into the grass where the moon can shine on it, and I pull it out before the sun comes up. So there is a little bit of dedication, meaning that I've got to get out there before the sun comes up. But if you don't get out there in time, it's not a big deal. The sun gives the moon the light, so you are in a way getting sunlight into your moon water. So it's not a big deal. And that has happened to me before. I did not get up in time. But if you truly want true moon water, you want to get it before the sun actually touches it. But don't throw it away if the sun does touch it. You can go ahead and use it. Drink it, give it to your plants, or use it how you would like to. Just know that it's not full moon water if the sun shines its rays on it. Okay, and that's what I have for you in this video. Thank you for your patience. I think I have a few more readings that I need to do as far as the tarot readings. I took a big break because of the COVID, and I had to catch up on all of my other stuff. But I think I have a few more to do, and I can't remember off the top of my head which ones those are, but they are coming. School starts on Monday, so I'll have some more free and quiet time. Theoretically, I am picking up a new bookkeeping client, so we'll see how that goes. But I am wanting to go live, and so these information sessions, I guess, I think I'm going to have them separate. And I'll do live. That way I can answer any questions anybody might have, and also it'll be in a separate spot on my YouTube page. So it won't be in videos under playlists. It'll be under lives. And I'm thinking I might be able to put the lives in playlists as well. So I was just thinking of a way to kind of separate some things, and I think that's a good way to do it. So be looking towards that. If you know anybody who can benefit from this video, please share, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. So I look forward to our next video, and I will see you soon. Take care.